second night. I wasn't really nervous last night. Just gotta give it all what I got to give, you know.
Mr. That marvelous accent of yours.
This is my own accent. What do you mean?
Yeah. Oh, you've been acting all the rest of the time.
Acting? What acting?
Isn't that Herbie?
No, it's just fake.
You can't be nervous with that there.
You kidding? Anybody would just shove this. Anyone would just be glad to just shove this in.
That's right. You're gonna kill the audience.
Probably not.
I'm alive, pal. Kate, answer.
All right, you guys. Thank you for your time.
After the show.
I am truly sorry.
I know. I got sick yesterday during first. I was like, oh, that's.
Oh, I told
But today,
sorry.
today it feels so good. I feel so confident.
Sky Bentley.
It was nerve-wracking skiing, but like once we got there and like the first lap, it was like, okay, it's gonna be.
Yeah, because you get out there and you're really nervous, but you just like see it off the adrenaline.
And I think you brought up a good point, Brad, is the fact that the first night the audience was with us. And Saturday it was like, I was in the booth going, somebody laugh! Somebody laugh, please! I love to know my cast members and everything's okay.
You have some of your say that stage of that for the Freddie Park.
I'm not kidding. I was really worried. I thought this was really funny, and I got some people that don't even laugh. So
I was asking both sides.
Zach came backstage. Nobody's laughing as I walk.
Oh, I do hope we have lights, darling, before the first guest arrives. Run a tub for me as soon as the power goes on. I have to wait down here to let the electrician in. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to rehearse my speech, the one I'm going to give at our party tonight. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and do remember, darling, we're going to dress exactly as we were a year ago tonight. Anniversaries are much more fun when you make them dress-up parties. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe I'd better just say friends. Friends. This is an anniversary party, but we mustn't forget that other things happened that night too. Pleasanter things. And that is why we're having the anniversary party. It was a year ago today that I first came to this old deserted mill because Aunt Bess wanted to look at real estate. She buys old barns, mills, chicken coops and whatnot, remodels them, and we live in them. But most important of all, it was a year ago tonight that the man I married proposed to me. Oh, that's the part about you, darling. I'll never forget it. You were very sweet. The details about the murder, I don't have to tell, because most of you already know about the terrible things that happened that night from reading the newspapers. You know about the people that died, stabbed with a knife. You know that the murderer was someone called the Butcher. You know all the horror of it, how the victim could live for hours with the knife next to his heart. None of us knew then that some good could come of it, and that eventually we could talk about it as we are tonight. And celebrating a proposal which led to a very happy marriage. It was a mysterious night, And I suppose our mystery should have started the way all mysteries start. In a mysterious castle, or a haunted mansion next to a neglected cemetery. But no, my story has none of these. Our mystery started here, in a silly old gunpowder factory called Muldoon's Mill, located next to a small rocky island out in the northern waters of Lake Champlain. In a mystery, they think of a house inhabited by many strange people, a dominating old lady, or perhaps a grim invalid gentleman in a wheelchair, a mysterious butler, or a sinister woman in black. My story has none of these. The old mill, as you know, was uninhabited and had not been used for over 200 years. My Aunt Bess, who has a hobby of buying old real estate no one else wants, thought it had possibilities. So an agent brought us out to see it. That's how it all started, just looking at another piece of rundown real estate. I had driven out of town ahead with Sky Bentley, who at that time was my boyfriend, and my Auntie Bess was following with the real estate agent. We were delayed and didn't get here until just about dark. It was raining. It had been raining all afternoon. A terrible storm struck just as we arrived. I can remember that night so very well. It was just turning dark. The sky was bleak and overcast, with lightning streaking the clouds. And it was raining. Just as it is tonight.
No one's here yet. Oh, you might as well wait inside. Do you want to make a dash for it? Phooey, some joint. Are you dry?
Just like a deep-sea diver, darling.
Well, we got here. Although why anyone should want to get here, I'll never understand.
It must be Auntie Bess and the real estate agent. I didn't see their car outside. Here's a place to hang coats. What's the matter?
Boy, some doghouse. Is this the place Rand wants to buy?
This is it, isn't it horrible?
Stinking.
She'll remodel it, of course.
Yeah, into what?
Into a house, silly, to live in. What did you think?
The only thing I could think of would be a tank for sea lions. Are you sure we've got the right place?
Certainly, Muldoon's Mill. There couldn't be two places like this.
I'll agree with you there. It's just that, well, look at it. It's falling to pieces.
Oh, that only adds to the charm, dear, as far as Auntie Bess is concerned.
But Kate, to live here, even if it had plumbing, it's only connected to the mainland by that rickety old wooden bridge. Not a house in miles. Are you sure this is the kind of place your aunt wants to buy?
Oh, she's simply haunted with the idea.
Well, haunted's the word to use, I guess.
Oh, the storm makes it seem kind of creepy. It might seem nicer here on a sunny day.
A sunny day? I bet the sun never shines down on this place, and every night a headless sea captain wanders with his telescope.
Oh, cheer up, Sky.
I'm sorry, but instead of coming up here to this brick mausoleum, we could have gone to the Grove together.
In this weather?
I bet it's not raining anywhere else.
Besides, Sky, I had to come. Auntie always needs my nod of approval when buying places to remodel. I'm sure she'd like yours, too.
Well, she gets no nod from me. I don't want you living all the way up here. But, you know, once we look at it, I just don't know what to think. I guess I just lost my sense of humor. I'm sorry, but you've got to realize that this is a dump.
Yes, I know that.
I'm sorry I lost my sense of humor.
It's not a big loss, honey.
All right, all right. Instead of coming up here, I just don't know. We could have gone to the square dance and then to Phil's for a late-night square dinner.
Sky, you know I can't tonight.
Why? Oh, is this the night Lane Burgess coming over to show you his colored slides? That's just great. That creep is ruining my life with his blasted colored slides. Can't you break the date with him?
No, we won't be back in time to phone him. Besides, I wouldn't anyways. You wouldn't like it if I broke a date with you.
With me? You're forgetting. I'm the one that's always trying to get a date, remember? It's just that, well, I won't get to see you at all when school starts back up. That medical course keeps me away every weekend.
It's not my fault you're studying to be a doctor.
Well, we can still go to Phil's for late night dinner if your aunt get back in time. Where is she anyway?
I don't know. They were right behind us when we left the highway. They should be here any minute.
We should have all gone in one car like I had said. That real estate agent drives like a soft-shelled crab, and by the time he gets here, your aunt wants to measure every door and every window.
I don't think so. She's seen it once already.
That doesn't matter. She wants to see everything again. See if she doesn't.
Any sign of them?
No, and it's getting dark. Boy, what a night for a murder. Where are we anyway?
Muldoon's.
Muldoon's? Hey, Barry had a murder about 2 weeks ago at a place called Muldoon. This the place?
Yes.
No kidding. Boy, I can sure pick them. A girl got herself stabbed somewhere around here. Wasn't that the one?
Yes, a girl named Althea. I knew her. She was stabbed with a butcher knife.
Oh yeah, the butcher murder. You knew her?
Yes, let's not talk about it.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to think up ways not to buy this dump. Although it sure had to have enough alone as it stands without throwing in a murder.
The murder wasn't here in the mill. It was just across from here on the mainland.
Well, wouldn't something like a murder change your aunt's mind about this locality?
I don't think so, but I doubt it. Look, Sky, there are limits. You can't commit a murder just to keep my aunt from buying an old mill.
Well, I consider anything to keep you from living so far away from me.
Auntie has always wanted to remodel a mill. This one could be it.
You keep calling this a mill. It looks more like an abattoir.
No, it was a mill.
A saw, grist, or cider?
Powder.
Face or gun?
Gun. It was the only kind they went in for in 1766. One of the earliest domestic products. Auntie gave me all the fascinating details. Let's see. Built originally in 1766. Produced gunpowder for the Revolution. Eventually abandoned in 1879 after it had blown up 3 different times.
Well, if I find any old gunpowder lying around, I'll be sure to blow it up again. Say, how come there's furniture here? And I use the term furniture loosely.
I don't know.
It's not from 1776.
Well, not the sofa, but this chest might be.
Yes, it looks like an old box for storing powder.
Well, if it's an antique, Auntie will buy it. Looks like the real thing.
Well, don't open it. It probably contains a murdered body.
Sky, don't talk like that.
I'm sorry, but all closets and old chests are supposed to contain old bodies.
Well, it might also contain a mouse, which is far more terrifying. Oh, I wonder if there are any in here.
Bodies are mice.
Mice, silly.
No decent mouse would live here. And don't get that look in your eye as I'm considering the possibilities of paint and wallpaper.
After living in so many old barns and chicken coops, that look in my eye is probably bred in me. But don't worry, my idea of blissful happiness is a modern ranch-type house made out of native green lumber and plasterboard, with everything warping out of shape the first year.
Well, now that's my baby, so then you won't let her buy this place.
Well, I'll do my best, but that real estate guy is going to give us some real competition. Can't you just hear him describe it now? Oh, notice these darling, old, rotten timbers, and these handsome wide floorboards eaten by termites. You can't get them like that nowadays. With just a little vision and a lot of money, this place could be converted into the cutest combination house and cow barn. You could sell antiques in one house and keep cows in the other.
Any cow you kept here would give sour milk.
Oh, and did you notice the darling, isolated location in the middle of the lake?
You've only been struck by lightning 13 times this year.
Oh, of course, there are always a few teensy-weensy alterations. You could just take the outside walls off and push them into the water until they sink. And then you could rip off the roof and put a charge of dynamite into the foundation. And this could be converted into the most heavenly hole in the ground. And then later, if you wanted to, you could fill it with water until you couldn't tell it from the rest of the lake.
Oh, splendid, splendid. And the price?
Oh, we don't mention the price until the very last moment. We've got to keep you conscious as long as possible.
I see, it comes furnished.
Oh, no charge for the furniture. We'll just throw it in.
I think it'd be better if you threw it out.
Oh, you have everything included except for the basic comforts of life. Hot and cold running skeletons in every closet.
Now you're talking. I'll always hope you open a closet door and see a skeleton and fling yourself into my waiting arms.
I think you're a little too optimistic. I'm not quite as antique as the house. Besides, we don't have any closets, just long, dark, windy passages. There's a door leading to one of them. What's the matter? Oh, Auntie Bess, what do you mean standing there like that?
Standing where? You opened the door just as I was about to come in.
Anyway, nice timing, Auntie Bess. Thanks.
You're feeling pretty smug, aren't you? But that knife, what do you mean by standing there with that horrible knife?
I found it in the passage. We came in the back way through the shed to keep dry, and it was on the floor as I came in. I thought it might be an antique.
Where's Mr. What's-his-name, the real estate man?
Mr. Ranch? He stopped by the caretaker's cabin to speak with Mrs. Cordice. He'll be here in a moment. No, it's just a modern butcher knife.
Butcher knife? Let me see it. How did this get here?
How does anything get anywhere? It's nothing of value.
Well now, here we are all together in spite of the weather. Isn't this a dream castle? Can't you just see all those busy little colonials bustling about to make gunpowder to shoot the British with? You're from an old New England family, Mrs. Lawton. Just think, your ancestors probably used powder from this very mill to shoot at redcoats. Now you might even live here yourself to complete the historical coincidence.
And if she does, the British will get even for every soldier her ancestors shot.
I think it's a sweet place. Primitive, but sweet.
This place is just terribly unique. Where can you find an old colonial gunpowder mill these days? They've all simply fallen to pieces.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh, dear me. Didn't mean this one. It's getting dark. Why don't we make it more cheery? There. Now, you might wonder about this furniture. But Mrs. Cordice, the caretaker, lived here before she moved into the little cabin by the bridge. It was too small for all of it, so she left some behind. Then the town built it so they could use it as an air watcher's post, but it was too cold and damp for them here.
This I can believe.
Well, naturally, after 200 years, this place needs a bit of tidying up. Part of the real charm of this mill is that it hasn't been spoiled by horrid modern improvements. You can start by absolute scratch by fixing it up properly. Don't you see the possibilities here, Mrs. Lobson?
I'm thrilled with it. Don't you like it, Kate?
I can see the possibilities, but I'm not thrilled.
It's just amazing the feeling of space you get in here.
I think that's because part of the roof is off.
You'll have to let Mr. Bentley have his little joke. He's really, at heart, a lover of our early American heritage.
Yes. Another nice feature here is that all the fireplaces work, and you'll notice they're quite large.
Yes, I noticed they were very large.
In fact, they're so large, one would think of them more as blast furnaces.
Well, large fireplaces are in demand. It's part of the beauty of the place. Now, that first room we came through could be converted into a dreamy kitchen.
A better idea would be to convert the kitchen into a fireplace and save the rest of the room as cupboard space.
All you would have to do is knock out the broken wall. You'd have a spacious dining room. The big hole in the wall could be used as a picture window. Now this room here would make a marvelous drawing room. I want you to notice the balls and notice the pegs. These are plank floors, 4 inches thick, built to hold thousands of pounds of gunpowder. And those are the original beams in the ceiling.
It certainly is the most fascinating place I've seen. I love that design in the arch of the roof.
Yes, I think the cross beams sort of hold the whole design together, don't you?
They may still hold the design together, sir, but they haven't stopped holding the roof.
The timbers are very sturdy.
I'd like to go upstairs again, Mr. Ranch. There's some things up there I'd like to measure.
Yes, and I'd like to show you some doors. All solid wood.
Are you coming upstairs, Kate? Or have you seen everything?
We've seen enough.
We'll be right up, Auntie Bess.
I have my flashlight, and I think we'll find another lantern upstairs. I want you to notice how much room could be used as closet space. All you'll have to do is enclose it.
Home sweet home.
Hasn't your aunt have any sales resistance whatsoever?
Well, I don't think you're helping things by being so antagonistic. You might as well face it, Sky. We're licked.
You mean you plan to live here, completely surrounded by antiques?
I can adjust myself to the facts. So what? I'll just live in an antique house and sit in antique furniture and read antique headlines from antique newspapers. The British are coming or Paul Revere rides again.
Hang it all, Kate, this isn't fair. You know how I feel about you. I mean, don't you? Kate, what's the matter?
Beautiful blonde found murdered.
What?
I said, beautiful blonde found murdered.
Let me see this. The stabbing at 9 o'clock is another believed to be the work of the butcher. The butcher? Hey, this is another one of those murders.
Read the rest of it.
Victim identified as Ann Zeberg of 2501 Locust Lane. Is that the Ann Zeberg you knew?
Yes, it is.
It states a similarity between this murder and the one committed near the same spot 2 weeks ago is very pronounced, according to a statement by Lieutenant Wells. The medical examiner, Harry L. Gregson, supports this conclusion. Dr. Gregson stated that in both cases he believed the victim lived for an uncertain length of time after the stabbing took place, and that this murderer must have been a person skilled in surgery, so that he was able to insert a knife close enough to the heart to cause unconsciousness or semi-unconsciousness, but not immediate death. The victim in this case seems to have lived and walked as far as the highway with the knife in her, and in fact may have caused her own death by stumbling. Kate, what's the matter?
Nothing. I'm just frightened.
No, I won't read any more of it.
No, it's not that. It's because I knew them.
But that's just a coincidence.
No, that's what I thought at first. Sky, there's something I haven't told you.
Well, what is it, Kate, for heaven's sakes? What is it?
There was still another girl before these two. 2 years ago, when I was in high school, 5 of us girls went on a picnic. And one of the girls, named Donna Mae, fell on a knife and died.
Are you trying to tell me there was a murder on a high school picnic?
No, it was an accident, Sky.
Well, what happened?
It was at a spot on the beach just across from here. We were all pushing and fooling around near the water when Donna Mae fell on a knife in the sand. It was much like the way these others happened. I mean, she lived for hours with the knife next to her heart until she died later in the hospital. We all felt terrible. I've thought about it a lot since, but can't you see now why I'm so scared?
No, you mean there's some connection between that picnic 2 years ago and these murders?
Yes, I do. The girls that have been murdered since died the same way. A butcher knife.
Then let me get this straight. A girl named Donna Mae died 2 years ago when 5 girls went on a beach picnic?
Yes, and I was one of the 5.
All right. Then 2 weeks ago, a girl named Althea was stabbed. She was one of the 5 girls.
Yes.
Now this newspaper reports another murder.
Ann Zeberg, and she was one of the 5.
3 have died, and you think...
What else can I think? 3 have died, only 2 are left.
You and who else?
A girl named Emmeline.
Where is she now?
I don't know, I've lost track.
And Kate, there may be something to this. I'm not sure, but we shouldn't have come here. Let's get your Aunt Bess and get back right away.
It scares you too, then? Reading about those murders?
Yeah, sure. But it isn't about reading about the murder that scares me.
Well, what then?
The fact that this is today's paper.
What does that mean?
It means someone else is here in the mill. This paper came out only this afternoon, and we didn't bring it here.
Well, what do you think we ought to do?
Go straight to the police.
And tell them what? We have nothing to go on.
Maybe not, but they ought to know everything you've told me.
Please don't tell Auntie Bess.
Why not?
I don't know. I think it'll shock her, and it doesn't seem right somehow.
Well, I'll think of some reason to tell her why we should get out of here right away.
But actually, I don't suppose we're in any real danger.
I don't want to take any chances where you're concerned. Who else knew you were coming up here?
Well, nobody. I mean, except for you and Auntie Bess and Mr. Ranch.
Is that all?
Well, yeah. Unless you count Lane.
Burge? I certainly don't count him any more than I can help. Must you bring that guy's name into every conversation?
Well, you asked.
By the way, how did he know you were coming up here?
Lane? Why, he was the one that told Auntie about it in the first place.
Well, that explains a lot. It was right in front of me and I couldn't even think of it. He wants to get you up here all to himself.
All to himself? What do you mean?
He has a summer place about a mile up the shore. That's why he wants to get you and your aunt to move into this prehistoric bat's nest. He wants to get you away from town and away from me.
I didn't know he lived nearby.
Well, he does.
Listen, Sky, Lane is an old friend. And I don't think that he would get Auntie to buy an expensive piece of real estate just because he lived nearby. That's silly.
Oh, yeah? Well, maybe he thinks that this is a fine example of Christopher Wren architecture. Kate, don't move up here, please. Persuade your aunt. I don't want that grinning reptile coiling himself around you while I'm back at school trapped between 2 covers of an anatomy book.
Sky, like I said, Lane is an old friend. And his interest in me isn't, well, it isn't what you think.
He drools all over his shirt when he sees you. Don't tell me.
Sky, I think this discussion of Lane Birch is a bit off the subject. I think we ought to decide a few things right now. I think we ought to decide what we're going to do. I'm at my wit's end. Here there's just been a butcher's knife murder, and you chatter on about Lane.
Were you expecting someone else here?
No.
It must be someone in trouble.
Oh, Lane Birch! What a surprise!
Catastrophe is a better word.
Are you all right, Kate, dear?
Am I all right? Yes, Lane, of course.
Why the devil shouldn't you be alright, you bug-eyed busybody?
Hello, old man. I hope you don't mind my barging in on a night like this. I guess it's just that little old protective instinct coming to the surface where Kate is concerned. I didn't realize she was with you, of course.
And who did you think she was with? Projectivity.
Matter of fact, I just thought she might be stuck somewhere out here in the storm. I knew you were coming to look at real estate, so I figured I'd just hop in the old Jaguar and buzz out this way and investigate. And here you are, safe and sound. You are safe and sound, aren't you?
Yes, of course. It was sweet of you to think of me. Don't you think it was sweet, Sky?
Heck yes. absolutely saccharine.
But it's just the thought of you out in the store all alone.
She wasn't alone.
Well, you know what I mean. By the way, Kate, dear, is your aunt with you?
Oh, yes, she's upstairs.
We're knee-deep in chaperones, if that's what worries you.
No, nothing like that. Just had something I wanted to tell you. I'll run up and see her now, Kate. That is, if you don't mind being left alone down here.
Listen, Bug Eyes.
Oh, sorry. Just that protective instinct.
If that creepy leg lizard talks any more about you being left alone, I'll butter the floor with him. Who does he think he is coming in here like this? The U.S. Marines?
Sky, I think the reason he gave for coming up here was perfectly logical, and we might as well take him at his word.
His word. Kate, honey, that guy's words are so shaky they make his teeth chatter. The only reason he came up here was because he knew you were with me, and he wanted to throw some monkey wrenches into that finely geared machinery. That's the whole story. That's Lane Birch in a nutshell for you. And when I say nutshell, that, sister, is what I mean. My apologies to all the nut trees.
Oh, Sky, this jealousy between you two, it's tiresome.
It's more than just jealousy. If I can stave off that hot-breathing melonhead for one more year, I get out of school in June, you know.
Yeah, I know. Is that supposed to mean something?
Now, don't act dumb, Kate.
I'm not acting dumb. I am dumb. I mean, I haven't the slightest idea what you're talking about.
Well, you must.
No, what?
Well, I practically told you I'm in love with you.
You never told me.
Kate, I practically told you.
You never told me.
Well, now I'm telling you, gosh hang it all, now I'm telling you. I think you'd be able to guess a thing like that.
I didn't know it was a guessing game. How long has this been going on?
Now I look back on it for quite a while.
Now that you look back on it, what was it? Something like a stomach ache?
Now don't get sore. A thing like that isn't sudden. How did I know I was in love?
How did you know? How do you know when you're hungry? How do you know when you're sleepy? How do you know anything?
It's not like being hungry or sleepy or anything. Kate, what I'm saying is, when school's out in June, I'm asking you to marry me. Now how do you feel? Hungry or sleepy?
Oh, Sky, I've always...
Who could that be? It can't be that Lane Burge again, unless that incomparable baboon has fell out a second-story window.
Oh my, I beg your pardon. This isn't the place. I realize now I have made a mistake. Excuse it, please.
No, sure, not at all.
I must have taken a wrong turn somewhere. Perhaps you can help me? I'm looking for the Berrydale Retreat.
Berrydale Retreat?
Yes, it's an asylum, you know.
Asylum?
For the feeble-minded. Not for me, for some friends of mine.
Berrydale, I think I know where that is.
Here's my map. Do you think I'm off much? Off the road, naturally.
Well, instead of turning here, you should have turned here. And the road is here, and Berrydale's here.
Oh, yes. But now, where am I?
Oh, you're here.
Oh, yes. It's not half so hard to find someplace else if you know where you are to begin with.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
Oh, yes, yes. It's all annoying where you are in the first place.
Now, that highway, how far is it?
Well, about 8 miles. You can take a shortcut if you want to take an unpaved road.
Oh, no. I'd better stick to the hard road. It's an awful night, and the car keeps rattling. You see, I have 3 girls. 3 young ladies, I should say, who are in my charge out in the car. I have to deliver them to Berrydale. My name is Dr. Claude Hooker. I'm the psychiatric consultant for the Good Hope Hospital and also the attending doctor for the nut factory in Greenbelt.
Nut factory?
Yes, Conover salted nuts. They have to keep a doctor on hand because someone is always cracking his fingers. It even happened to me. Now, to get back, I just have to go over that bridge and take a right at the second turn.
Yeah, you could probably get through if you care to try it. But it's the first turn if you want the shortcut.
Girls, I told you to wait in the car. This isn't at all fair.
Well, what did you come in for?
I told you I had to find out where I am.
We know where we are, don't we? I'm here. So am I. Doesn't Dr. Hooker know that he's over there? He's only half there.
Now that shortcut, that's the unpaved road?
Yeah, like I said, you could probably get through if you care to try it.
No, thank you. Not when I've got a few nuts loose. I mean the car. There's something wrong with the steering. It seems to be unbalanced.
Who's your good-looking friend? He doesn't seem unbalanced.
I'll have to introduce you. It's a policy in our therapies. That is, if you don't mind. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, not at all. My name is Kate Lansing, and this is Skylar Bentley.
Please, Miss Lansing and Mr. Bentley. This is Lorna, Dottie, and Nan. Girls, that's not the way to be introduced. Remember that movie you saw, How to Act Like a Lady? They've seen that movie 3 times. Why don't they act like ladies?
You've seen it 3 lady times two. Why don't you act like a lady?
Come now. We must be on our way. Thank you for all your help. Sorry to have trouble with you.
You sure you know the way?
Oh yes, I can find everything now.
Let's see you find Man and Dottie.
Dear me, now what? Have they gone upstairs? You girls have got to learn to stay in one place. Excuse me for a moment. Make sure that you wait right here. Nan, Dottie, come now.
You'll have to excuse Mr. Hooker and those other two. They're not very bright. It leaves me with all the responsibility.
Okay, I think the thing to do is get out this iron immediately.
Are you going to tell Auntie Bess?
Yes, I'll think of something.
But what can you tell her?
I don't know, I'll think of something.
Oh, I just love your drapes.
Drapes?
We'll have to humor her.
Oh, yes, drapes. Thank you. I don't see how you're going to persuade Auntie to go. She'll want to see the whole mill.
I have a friend that has drapes just like these. She chews them.
Yes. Okay, I think maybe the thing to do is tell your Aunt Bess everything.
But Sky, there's got to be another way.
And don't forget Lane Birch. He's not going to be easy to handle.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't know anyone was in there.
I know you may not like it. But I think the best thing to do is to take Lane in...
What's the matter?
Who is she talking to?
Who is who talking to?
That girl, Lorna. I thought she spoke to someone.
Whom?
That's what I'm asking you, silly. I thought I heard her open this chest.
The old storage gunpowder chest? She couldn't obviously speak to anybody in there.
Sky, what are we going to do?
I don't know. Oh, no. Yes.
What? Is there something in the chest?
No, don't look.
Sky, I've got to know.
How about a game of bridge while we're all waiting?
Sky, what are we gonna do?
I love bridge. It's a real wacky game, if you know what I mean.
Lorna, do be quiet. We can't play bridge now.
Oh, you mean it takes 4 to play bridge? Well, you two could be partners, and I'll take your friend in the box.
Lorna, forget what you saw. The man in the box can't play bridge.
Well, he couldn't hold his cards very close. I'll say that. Now with that big butcher knife sticking out!
Sky, the body in the chest, are you sure is it dead?
I didn't take its pulse. It must have been in there a few hours.
Oh, this is horrible. What are we to do? I mean about this.
I don't know, but we've got to do some fast thinking, Kate. I think we should get back to the village right away. All of us.
Now where did she go?
Where did who go?
That girl, Lorna. She was standing there in the archway.
Don't worry about her at a time like this.
I can't help but worry about her. The things she does are very strange.
Well, that's to be expected if she goes to Berrydale.
Going to Berrydale? That's probably just a lot of talk. Why should we believe a word that doctor says? He probably did it.
Lord, Kate, we can't jump to that conclusion. The body was in the chest before we got here. The doctor and the girls just came.
But actually, you don't know when they arrived. They could have been here before and only pretended to come in when they did. There's no way of knowing that, is there?
No, but...
Then one of them could have been responsible for that.
And Kate, it wouldn't make much sense. If one of them murdered the body in the chest, they wouldn't come back here to hang around. Finding out who did it isn't our worry. Leave it to the police.
Then there's only one thing to worry us now, and that's getting away from here. I think we should tell everyone what we've discovered and all of us leave together.
And what about your Aunt Bess? Have you changed your mind?
Yes, I think we should tell her too. I know it'll shock her, but I think the most important thing to do is as you suggested. Get away from here and tell the police.
I don't know, Kate. I just don't know.
But I thought that's what you wanted in the first place, to tell Auntie and to tell the police. How come you've changed your mind?
It's hard to explain. The situation has completely changed.
Changed? The situation is worse. Now there's someone dead. Sky, for heaven's sake, you've got to report it. You can't just not tell. Doesn't it make you an accessory after the fact if you don't report something?
I want to report it, Kate. Don't misunderstand me. I'm all for telling the police, but...
Well, then?
They're so far away. There's no telephone.
Well, we've got to make a start. We've got to tell someone.
But Kate, don't you see that's a danger? Telling everybody what we know before we tell the police.
Oh, you mean if the murderer knows we know? Then you're suspicious of Dr. Hooker, too.
I didn't say that. I just say we gotta keep our mouths shut.
One of the girls, then. Lorna.
I'm not thinking of any particular person, but I just think we gotta play it safe.
You might as well say it, Sky. It could be anybody. The murderer might very well be here with us.
We can't jump to that conclusion, Kate.
dear, I didn't mean to frighten you. I'm Sam Cortese.
It's all right, Kate. She's the caretaker here.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm sorry. I'm so jumpy.
We live in the cabin there, just by the bridge. We used to live in here, but it didn't suit us much. This is my assistant, Mabel. We saw you were here past the time of dark and thought you might be in some trouble.
Oh, no trouble. We were just leaving.
As soon as Mrs. Lanson has seen the upstairs.
Thought you might not know about the kerosene lamps. That's all we have here on the island.
We had no trouble with them.
There's some upstairs, too. Did you find them?
Yes. I'm sure Mr. Wrench knows about them.
We were surprised to see you turn up so late. We thought you were... Mr. Wrench said you'd be coming to look at the place. Well, we expected you by daylight. Not much of a night for looking at property, though.
Well, we didn't intend to be here after dark, but we were delayed in the village.
Yeah, those things happen. Can't see the place good at night like this, with lamps and whatnot. Well, if we can be of any help to you, we'll be going.
Just one thing, Mrs. Cortese. You've been here all day?
Well, yeah, it's my job. I'm here all day, all night, all week.
Well, has there been anyone here today besides ourselves?
No, nobody comes here.
Kate, this is useless.
Yes, but someone must have come here before we arrived.
Well, I'm not sure I rightly know what you mean, but nobody came here before, except those that are here now.
You mean someone that's here now came before?
Yep, this fellow was here earlier this afternoon.
You, Sky?
No, I can explain everything. It was a crazy idea.
Was there anyone else?
Well, Mr. Branch and your aunt came about 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, I know about that. Is that all?
No, that other fellow, Mr. Burge, he was here before. And then there was still another fellow I didn't know. And afterwards, a girl. But they haven't left yet, like I said. Nobody came here before, except those that are here now.
Are you sure?
Well, sure, I'm sure. I'm supposed to notice who comes, who goes. Sometimes I chase them off, sometimes I don't bother.
Did the girl and boy come together in a car?
No, the man walked over the bridge just before he came. And afterwards, the girl came, but they haven't left yet. Do you want us to look for them?
No. We'll call you if you need anything else, Mrs. Cortese.
Okay.
Well, that seems to put Dr. Hooker in the clear. She didn't mention him or the girls, but what were you doing here earlier?
Well, I can explain everything, Kate.
Do it then.
It's not easy. Try to understand.
Sky, for heaven's sake.
All right. But before I tell you, you've got to remember one thing. Who could that be?
Oh, Sky, please be careful.
No one here, but it's a note addressed to you. Listen, whoever put that there must have...
No, wait, Sky.
What is it? To Kate Lanson, a warning. A warning? Do you recognize this printing?
No.
To Kate Lanson, a warning. Get off this island at once. One of your friends is going to murder you, the one once known as the Hook. Don't listen to what anyone says. Don't believe what anyone tells you. Just run. Run for your life. Beware of the Hook. Who wrote this? What does this mean?
I don't know.
Who's the Hook?
I don't know, but it couldn't have been Mrs. Cortese.
She was just standing there.
No, I don't think it was her. I have a feeling that... No, I don't know who it was, but it says what I'm already afraid of. The girls who were on that picnic with Donna Mae are being murdered one by one. Who the murderer is, I don't know, but the murderer knows I'm here. In fact, he's here with me. He may have even written that note just to scare me out of my wits.
Now, Kate, when you say the murder's here with you,
I don't mean you specifically. I mean someone here. Someone here.
It seems impossible, but the only thing to do is get off this island.
But every time we start to go, something happens.
Let's just get your Aunt Bess and go.
Yes, I won't go without my Auntie Bess.
All right, I'll go upstairs and look for them, and then you have Mr. Ranch drive you and your Auntie Bess home, and I'll go to the police alone in mine.
Hello! Did I frighten you? No. I don't blame you if I did. I sometimes frighten myself when I look into my shaving mirror.
Shaving mirror?
Yes. Of course, being a girl, I don't have any whiskers, but it doesn't hurt to practice, does it? Does it?
No, I suppose it doesn't.
You're anxious to get away from here, aren't you?
Yes, it's getting dark.
I'm not. I don't mean I'm not getting dark. I mean, I'm not getting anxious. I like it here. It's unusual. Did you know there's a big hole in the floor in there?
No, I didn't.
Well, there is. It goes right down into the lake. It's a wonderful way of disposing of things. Anyone you didn't like, you could just drop down the hole. I tell you have to hand it to these modern architects.
Oh, Sky! But where's Auntie Bess?
It's all dark up there.
Oh, but she's up there. She must be.
It's a maze of rooms. There must be other stairways or passages for her to go through.
Including a hole in the floor. No fuss, no bother.
Ah, there. Here we are all together again. I thought I saw you just ahead of me.
Where are you? Where is everyone?
Lorna, we've been looking for you. You stay with us. We are all at the very end of the passage. I met your aunt up there and a Mr. Ranch. Charming people. They made their way to the end and found a little room with a fireplace and made themselves a little fire, quite cheerful. There was also another nice-looking gentleman scrambling around very energetically. A Mr. Burridge seemed to be measuring things in a corner.
He was probably weaving a web. I'll go back up and get them in just a minute.
Come, Lorna, come. Well, I must be off.
Don't feel bad. I'm off too. So am I. Aren't we all?
I mean to simply say goodbye. Go on out, girls. Nice meeting you both. Thanks for the directions.
No problem.
Sorry.
It's a relief to have them gone. If your aunt has built a fire in the fireplace, does that mean she plans to stay a while?
No, it's probably just to prove they work. Oh, I hope Auntie is not going to be difficult.
Well, we won't look for trouble. We'll just get Auntie Bess and Mr. Ranch and we're off to the village. A fireplace or no fireplace.
What about Lane?
He has his own car. Let him drive. And incidentally, Mrs. Cordy said Lane was here earlier. Now that's something to think about.
I don't want to play Detective Sky. I just want to get out of here. Get Auntie. Oh, Auntie Bess, we were just going up to find you.
We're nearly ready.
Auntie Bess, we must leave here at once.
In a minute.
I know it's dark, but this is very important. Just one more thing.
The upstairs seems to be 25 feet longer than the downstairs. And Lane says that's most unusual.
You see, the second floor is supposed to have something under it. It worries me.
We can measure the mill another time, Auntie. Right now, it's imperative that
It
we
will
go.
only take a minute to check up on us, Kate, and then we'll be off. Come through this way, Mr. Branch. We'll need the lights.
But Auntie... Oh, I knew she was going to be difficult.
It's all right. We can stand one more minute here. By the time they get back, we'll be ready to go.
Are you all right, Kate?
Oh, yes, of course.
Do me a favor, Lane, and stop rushing to save Kate every 5 minutes.
Sorry, old man. It's just, that protective instinct.
You'll need that protective instinct if you keep this up.
Kate, where's your Aunt Bess? I gave her the wrong measurements. The upstairs is 25 feet shorter, not longer.
Sometimes I wonder.
Oh, she went through the archway, Lane.
Oh, don't forget, later tonight we have a date.
Ooh, those darn clerk sides. I like to. This whole thing is getting absolutely insane.
What was that?
I don't know, Kate. No. You go get your coat on, get ready to make a dash for the car. I'll go see.
Lane fell in the lake.
Is that all?
Oh, God, don't just stand there. Let's help him, Auntie.
I'll get a tow rope out of my car. We can pull him out that way.
I say hello, I'm back. We can't get off this dark place. The bridge is gone.
The bridge is gone?
Yes, sir, blown to bits. That's rather strange, don't you think?
Are you serious?
Yes, quite so. For the time being, I'll have to bring the girls in here where it's warm and dry. That is, if it's all right with you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Mr. Bentley, we managed to pull Mr. Burridge out, and I was wondering if you could get us a blanket. There's one in the back seat of my car. It's parked at the rear out of the shed, through there.
A blanket?
Yes, Mr. Burridge is all wet.
Oh, don't worry. He's always been. Blanket. Yes, I'll get it.
It was you. I thought I heard a noise back there, but it must have been you coming down the passage.
Did you get the blanket?
Mr. Bentley is getting it.
Good. Poor Lane is awfully cold and wet, but he doesn't seem to mind as long as Kate is fussing over him.
Mrs. Lawson, I just noticed that the knife was gone. Did you take it?
No, I put it on the table.
Well, it's gone now.
Well, it wasn't of any value.
No, of course not. I just thought it was odd. I mean, being a knife.
I'm sorry to be making such a nuisance of myself, but the bridge is gone. Now, girls, upstairs, up to the room with the fireplace. I at first thought it was struck by lightning, but it's too far gone. Demolished is the word.
The bridge, Doctor?
Yes. Now, girls, go on. Up to the room. Upstairs, you guys, come on. You won't disturb me up there. There's nobody in the upper story.
Nobody in the upper story. You're so right.
If you'll excuse me, I'll see to them. We can't get across, the bridge is smashed up.
That Dr. Hook acts just as clear as the girls. Where are they from anyway?
They're probably summer people.
What does he mean about the bridge?
I don't know, broken in some way.
Here's a little rabbit skin to wrap the baby bunting in.
Great, I'll take it right back to them.
Mr. Bentley, Dr. Hooker says the bridge is blown to bits.
Yes, he's right.
You mean we can't drive over it?
That's right.
Well, isn't this serious?
You could call it serious.
Well, I must say you seem rather cool about it. I consider this a very uncomfortable situation, being trapped out here in this horrid place.
Look, Mr. Ranch, I've been wanting to tell you what I thought of this horrid place all afternoon, and now I'm going to tell you. I don't like this place either. In fact, I think that this is the most worthless heap of brick and should not, in all honesty, be sold to anyone, let alone Mrs. Lanson. But since you have laid scruples aside and have tried your level best to unload this monstrosity on some friends of mine, you are as much to blame for this situation as anyone. So don't blow your top to me about being uncomfortable or trapped in this horrid place.
Young man, I'm inclined to excuse your insolence, since youth seems to be an excuse for anything these days. And I think you ought to be straightened out on one thing. I sell real estate. That is my business, pure and simple. If I were to pick up for something for you, I'd go to a modern, square, half-story, flat-roof, glass-sided house because I think that's what you'd want. Mrs. Lawson likes old mills and barns, so it's my job to show her old mills and barns, not to convince her that she doesn't like them. I cater to people's taste. I do not regulate them. Now you keep that straight, Mr. Bentley, before you open that big mouth of yours again.
Well, that poor boy certainly had, is there anything wrong?
No, we were just discussing this unfortunate situation.
Well, Kate seems upset, but I don't think this business about the bridge is anything serious. As soon as we get that poor boy dried out in front of the fire, we can think of ways and means of getting back to the village.
Well, if it isn't Pocahontas.
Oh, shut up!
Lane, you should come upstairs to the fire.
Auntie Bess, I think somebody ought to decide how to get us off this island. That is still most important.
All right, I'm not the one falling in the lake. Well, I'll go and see what can be done with the bridge. And also, I'm going to have a talk with that Mrs. Cordice.
A talk with Mrs. Cordice? What for?
Kate knows, and that's just you dry up in a hurry.
Oh, that big blockhead!
Lane, he'll catch your death of cold.
No, I think it would be a splendid idea if we all went upstairs and talked this over calmly when Mr. Burridge draws out.
I'll come up in a minute, but first I want to talk to Kate.
Kate, I don't think Lane should stand around in the cold.
All right, Auntie Bess, I'll bring him right up.
I'll see what I can do about these clothes.
You're shivering.
I know I am, but I have to talk to you, alone. I probably won't get another chance without that fiendish face of Sky Bentley revolving around you like a moon.
Honestly, I wish you guys could just get along.
Okay, but first, give me a chance with you, Kate. It's only fair.
A chance with me?
Yes, you must know how I feel about you.
Oh, why do men always expect women to know how they feel?
Gosh, your hemlock, Kate. I thought you realized I loved you. More than that, I want you to marry me. I realize this is the worst possible moment to bring this up, but it's my only opportunity.
Lane.
I know it sounds crazy the way I'm saying it, but it all makes sense. Everything rushed before me when I hit the water. This can't happen, I said to myself. This can't happen. I can't drown before I marry Kate. Then I got hit in the head.
You got hit in the head?
I mean, just the impact of the water. That has nothing to do with what I'm saying. I'm in my right senses, for Pete's sake. Kate, you've got to realize I love you. I always have. The shock just woke me up, that's all. After I had the shock of hitting the cold water, I realized something. I realized that I can't let any more hours or moments go by without telling you that I love you. It always seems as there's some dead person standing around. We're never alone. You don't know how I've hoped for just a chance like this. Just you and I, and no other living person to interrupt us.
Oh, Lane, you're taking my breath away. But I think you've had a shock falling into the water, and you're not quite sure you know what you're talking about. Are you sure you want me? Are you sure you know what you're asking?
I know my timing's all wrong, and I didn't even want you to answer me now. I intended to ask you all this tonight, and I still want to do it that way. Just you and I, in the dock, looking at colored slides. But I have to say something now, well, because considering our danger here and my accident and all that, I thought you ought to know how I felt. Even though I wanted to wait until tonight to make it perfect, All sounding like a knot.
Oh, no, you're a darling. But I think you're right about waiting until tonight. I think right now you should come up to the fire.
Wait a minute. Isn't Sky driving you home?
Oh, yes, but he knows he can't stay. He knows I have a date with you.
Oh, I bet he'll cook up something to spoil everything yet.
Oh, honestly. Look, Lane, Sky is all right. He's harmless.
No, he's not harmless. You notice the way he's been acting here tonight, all jittery and jumpy?
Why can't you guys just get along?
No, I mean it. He's been acting like a nervous grandmother as if he's just found a body under the bed.
What made you say that?
Say what?
About the murdered body.
I didn't say murdered body, did I? Look, all I said was that Sky acted like a nervous grandmother. Say, what's all this about a body?
Lane, I think there's something I better tell you.
Tell me what, for gosh sakes?
There is a body.
What did you say?
I said there is a body.
You mean a body? Where?
In the chest.
In the chest? In the chest, you're kidding.
No, far from it.
Well, if there is a body, why didn't somebody... Kate, I don't believe it. Things like this just don't happen. I mean, in here...
Open it.
Open it.
That's where the body is?
Okay. Ha! Just as I thought, a gag.
It's gone!
Darling, don't spoof old Lane Bird.
Oh, don't be an idiot! Oh, good heavens, I wonder...
You wonder what?
Could it be able to move, to walk around the way others did?
A body? Walking around? Kate, what's the matter with you?
Nothing, except I'm scared.
Kate, get a hold of yourself. You're imagining things.
I'm not imagining anything. Did I imagine Althea? Did I imagine Ann Seberg? Did I?
Kate, get a hold of yourself. You got to realize that things like this just don't happen. I mean, after all...
Lane, let me alone. Someone in this mill is trying to murder me, and for all I know, it might even be you.
Kate, no. Kate, I'm only trying to help you.
Sit down, Charlie. It looks like we're stuck.
You're telling me.
Well, Miss Lansing, this is a surprising story. Murder, warning notes. I must say, it's a great shock to me.
I must say, it's a shock to me, too. I'm absolutely electrocuted.
Be quiet, Nan.
Well, I just don't think Miss Lawson could be in any real danger.
Now listen, everyone. You've all heard what's been happening here, and you've all heard Kate's story. Now let's not forget certain facts. Here in the newspaper is the account of the murder at 9 o'clock this morning. It's definitely tied to the one a few weeks ago. Exactly the same. It's obvious to me now, after listening to Kate, that the girls who were on that first beach party are being murdered. Possibly by someone who is avenging the death of Donna May. Until we can get help, Kate must be protected.
But the body in the chest, Kate said that was a man.
It was.
Then this business about just girls being murdered doesn't seem to be true.
It doesn't fit the pattern, I'll admit that, but Lane has a theory about it.
Yes, it occurred to me that the so-called body in the chest could actually be the murderer.
Oh no, if there was a body in the chest, I don't believe it's walking around. There's some other explanation.
The only other explanation is that the murderer is one of us.
Impossible!
Mrs. Cordy saw everyone come and go. There's no one else.
Except one girl. No one's seen her since.
Someone could have come in a boat.
Yes, sir, it's possible, but there's only one place to land a boat, and that's at the dock behind the cabin. All other places are rough rock. Even so, I think I'd have seen a boat attempting to come ashore.
Someone on this island must have sent the warning note.
Which one of us put the note on that door?
If you follow that reasoning, one of us must have destroyed the bridge.
Well, I certainly don't know anything about exploding things. To me, the most likely person is Mrs. Cordy.
I didn't do it!
There's no use accusing blindly. Any one of us could have done it.
I didn't even hear an explosion.
Nor I.
The bridge must have been dynamited, but I didn't hear an explosion either.
Can I say something? Mr. Bentley and I think the explosion took place along with the thunder and wasn't noticed. Therefore, it must have happened about an hour ago, before the storm was over.
Can anyone account for his time an hour ago? Mr. Ranch, we're in the upstairs room all the time.
No, when Mrs. Lawton and yourself were gone for so long measuring, I went to look for you. Of course, later I went for a blanket.
Where is Mr. Bentley?
For that matter, where is Lorna?
I don't know. All the girls have the tendency to wander off at times.
Kate, you've got to admit it's queer the way Sky disappears.
Yes, I would say in the very least, that Mr. Bentley's disappearance at this time is, well, suggested.
I couldn't agree with you more.
There's no use jumping to hasty conclusions again.
Murder is a serious thing, Kate.
All right, but in something as serious as murder, you can't just point to everyone, hit or miss.
Look, I'm not saying Sky's the actual murderer. Dr. Hooker said that his disappearance was suggestive. Well, I think it is. For that matter, I think Lorna's disappearance is suspicious too.
No. There I must disagree with you. Lorna is like a child. And she also has a very high moral sense. So she simply couldn't do anything wrong.
But we have only your word for that, Dr. Hooker.
Yes, quite so. But you yourself pointed out how useless it is to hysterically point a finger to one person to another without some positive proof. It will only stir us up to a panic and keep us from thinking clearly about this.
I think we ought to find out who is guilty.
That matters for the police.
But we can't get to the police. We might not be able to reach them until tomorrow morning. What happens in the meantime?
Well, it's not as bad as you think. We will surely get help here before long. In the meantime, we need to come up with a procedure about staying together, or some kind of plan that will ensure the safety of us all for the next few hours.
I agree.
So do I. It sounds like a good idea.
Yes, but I think the procedure that would give us the greatest safety is to find out who did it, if we can.
And I said it's impossible if you insist on assuming it's one of us.
Don't be stubborn, Auntie Bess. Mrs. Cortese and her assistant have seen everyone that has come and gone from the island. So it has to be someone here.
Well, she said there was some girl. No one's seen her.
She hasn't left. She must be hiding here.
Well, it's strange we haven't seen her. We've gone over the whole mill.
Every nook and corner.
But it's dark, Auntie.
Well, we can assume she is still here, and therefore like us under suspicion.
If I understand, the murderer is either Sky Bentley, Lorna, an unknown girl that's hidden, or one of us right here.
That's the way it has to be.
Oh, merciful heavens. This is a situation, I must say. Sitting around with someone who's a murderer. No, I think the sensible thing to do is get busy and find a way off this horrid island immediately. What about the bridge? Everyone's sure it can't be fixed.
The bridge is out of the question. It's smashed.
It would take the entire night to join it to the shore.
Well, a boat then, or a raft.
I think I can answer your question for you, Mr. Ranch. Mrs. Cortese and myself have explored all possible means of getting off the island, including swimming, which neither of us is able to do. So we're doing the one thing that's most feasible, namely signaling the mainland with the car lights.
There are two houses nearly opposite of here, both with fishing boats and also a Coast Guard patrol. We've been blinking the auto lights continuously until now. We're sure to raise someone.
It's just a matter of time before the boat arrives. And then just in the meantime, it's just a matter of taking every precaution and wait.
Well, that sounds sensible.
I don't know. To me, it sounds completely fantastic.
I think we ought to do more than just sit here. There are lots of things that ought to be explained. I think we ought to ask questions.
Such as?
Such as what happened to the body in that chest?
Well, it's obvious someone must have moved it. Unless it's...
Walking around, I won't hear such a thing.
Well, if it isn't only the lost sheep.
Oh, shut up. Either put on some clothes or build yourself a teepee.
Oh, very funny. Very funny.
Where have you been, Sky?
I've been trying to find a way out this island.
And just what did you think you were going to find? A secret entrance into the hole and tunnel?
It's not going to help us one bit if you start that bickering again. Save your energy for finding the murderer.
And Kate, I'd like to talk to you for a minute, alone.
Listen, chum, nobody's going to be alone with Kate from now on.
Excuse me, but may I point out something that might be important?
Yes, I think we ought to tell anything that has a bearing on this.
Well, it's a small thing, but the knife is gone.
The knife?
Yes, Mrs. Lawton found a knife on the way in and she put it on the table. Remember?
Yes, that's right.
If the murders were done with a knife, I should think this was important.
This is something we could find out. We could all be searched.
A butcher's knife is not easy to conceal.
Nursery, it isn't.
Nan, do you know about the knife?
Well, I know who took it.
All right, Nan, who?
Lorna!
Tattletale just because she isn't here.
Lorna. Nan, are you sure?
Oh, she took it all right. She said she was saving it up for her birthday, in case she gets a cake. But I don't believe her. Last time she had birthday cake, she ate it with a spoon.
It does seem to me as if the guilty person should be Lorna. And we we should be really careful until we get that knife away from her.
And to keep her away from Kate.
Yes, I think that sounds sensible. At any rate, I see no purpose in continuing this inconclusive conversation any further down here in this cold, dark, drafty room. We may as well all go upstairs where we are at least warm and comfortable.
Excellent suggestion. I'll see if I can go upstairs and question Lorna. This distresses me greatly. I'm sure she's quite innocent, but we must take precautions, of course.
Are you coming upstairs, Kate? I'd feel better if you did.
I don't know. I suppose I am, but I'd like to know what Sky and Lane are going to do.
I think it's best what your aunt says. If Dr. Hooker's going to look upstairs in the room, I'll look down here and outside.
Good idea. I'm sure she's quite harmless, but good idea. Come, girls, come, upstairs.
You'd best come up, Kate.
I'll be up in a minute, Auntie Bess. What about you, Lane?
I'm going with Sky.
What for?
I guess because I don't quite trust you yet. You're up to something.
I'm not up to anything. I'm going to find Lorna.
Okay, I'll go along and help find Laura. Kate, I think it's best if you stay upstairs with Aunt Bess and the others.
If we can't be of any help to you, we'll be getting on back.
I think it'd be best if you continue singing the mainland with your car lights.
Well, all right, just as you say. My assistant can make some coffee. We might like to have it later.
Swell.
Come on, Mabel.
Sky,
what?
Where have you been all this time? You're up to something.
Relax, will you? If we're going to find Lorna, I suggest we go through the passageway to the sheds first, then circle around the rear rooms and come back to the lower corridor to the passageway. And Kate, you better stay upstairs.
I will, but you be careful, both of you.
We'll be careful.
And don't fall in love again. There's no more blankets.
You shut up.
Who are you?
You don't remember me?
Oh, you're Emmeline.
Yes, Emmeline Veld. It's been a long time.
But what are you doing here?
I came to warn you, Kate.
Then you wrote the note on the door?
Yes, I've been trying to see you alone ever since you came. We're in terrible danger, you and I. Kate, I was afraid you didn't know.
I've only guessed.
You know, it's the 5 of us on that beach party. We're being murdered one by one. Only you and I are left.
It's really true, then? It's really true?
It's true. I think I knew it was true the second it happened to Althea. The same way it happened to Donna Mae. Then when Anne died, with the knife, I was certain.
Emmeline, who's doing this?
You haven't guessed?
No, how could I?
It's someone who is very close to Donna Mae.
You mean her parents? I never knew them.
No, she had no parents. She lived with an uncle and an older brother. She had only a few friends our age.
Emmeline, who's doing this? Tell me.
The name I'm not sure of, but the identification, I'm sure of that.
Is it someone here?
Of course! That's why I came. Once I thought I knew I had to be sure you were safe, even before I went to the police. Even now we may not be able to get away, unless... Oh, Kate, you used to be a swimmer. Do you think you can make it to the mainland?
I don't know.
The wind is high and the water's choppy, but it's less than half a mile. If you think you can make it, we ought to try.
Just leave? You mean without the others? Just you and I try to swim it?
Yes, after all, we are the ones in danger. It may be our only chance.
But if you know who the murderer is, couldn't we just tell Sky or Lane and then they could hold the person until help came?
If you want to get out of this alive, trust no one. Yes, I think I know who it is, but the murderer may not be working alone. I mean, one other person knows who the murderer is. Our best chance, Kate, really our only chance, is to get away from here first. Swim to the mainland and tell the police.
Well, I'd risk it, but I'd like to know where I'm running from.
You can't find that out now without running the risk of your life. I'll tell you at the beach.
I know it can't be Sky or Lane or Auntie
Don't be
Bess.
a fool! They may be helping the murderer.
Emmeline, I know these people. Tell me, whom do you think the murderer is?
Listen, do you remember what word I used in the warning note?
You said beware of the hook. It didn't make any sense.
Kate, don't you remember that Donna Mae used to refer to someone whom none of us knew as the old hook?
Oh, yes, that's right. She also mentioned someone as the old claw.
Yes, now you've got it. But they weren't two people, only one. I found all the proof I needed tonight. What does hook suggest to you?
Nothing.
Well, it did to me. So I came here to warn you. After the murder this morning with Anne, I knew this would be a trap. The murderer would be here. So I came. I hid myself in a closet just so I could watch everyone and prove what I suspected. But it got too dark to see. Finally, it happened. I heard one person come down the passageway with someone else. I could only hear them. I couldn't see them. I heard one person speak, but the echoes in the arches made it impossible to identify the voice. But what I heard, it was enough. It's enough, Kate. I heard the knife drop to the stone floor, and the voice is echoing through the empty corridors like a ghost. It said, "Pick it up, you fool, pick it up. You know I have only one hand."
One hand?
Yes, one hand. That's who brought the knife. But don't you see, there's someone else. That's why I think you can trust no one.
But one hand, are you sure?
Hey! It's your aunt. I don't want anyone to know I'm here. Meet me below the docks in 10 minutes, and we'll swim for it.
Emmeline.
Hey, so you down there?
I'm coming right up, Auntie Bess.
I think you should be up here with us.
All right, I'm coming.
Emmeline. I'm going. Meet me below the docks in 10 minutes. It may be your only chance.
But there must be another way.
Your only chance. 10 minutes, and I won't wait.
All right, I'll be there.
Come alone.
Kate, what are you doing down here alone? You're supposed to stay upstairs with the others.
Did you find Lorna?
No.
Where's Lane?
I don't know. He got lost in the dark somewhere.
Sky, listen, something important has happened.
What's the idea of ditching me?
Ditching you? What were you doing up there?
There's a back stairway. Kate, I thought you'd be up there. Where is everyone?
Upstairs, I guess.
No, I was just up there and all I saw was Nan.
And not only that, she was down here alone.
But I'm all right.
You should have stayed with someone.
Sky, listen, Emmeline's here. I've been talking to her.
Emmeline? Who's Emmeline?
She was one of the girls in that picnic. Mrs. Cordice is the one that saw her earlier.
Well, she was here. Kate, you took an awful chance.
No.
Just suppose she's the one.
No, she couldn't be. The point is, she came here to warn me. She wrote the note. She says she knows who the murderer is.
The devil she does? Who is it?
She didn't tell me the name. She's not absolutely sure because she has only one clue, and she won't wait to make sure.
As I think back, it might possibly be that...
Oh, it sounds like Emmeline!
Sky, watch it!
No, I can't.
I'm afraid she's dead, Kate. She's been stabbed in the heart.
This one really has been stabbed.
What do you mean this one really has been stabbed?
I did too try out for that Sky Bentley part. I would have got it too, except for this big shit. Damn. It's wonderful.
Dottie! Where's Dottie? Dottie? Dottie! Dottie! What? Where was she lying?
Right over there. Shh. I'm trying to see what happened.
What did they do with her? Throw her in the lake?
They took her to the room across the hall and put her on a table. That's where they're now.
Do you think Lorna stabbed her?
Oh, no. Not Lorna. Lorna likes to hit people over the head. I thought it was you.
Me? You're crazy.
Shh. You're not supposed to say that.
All right. You're eccentric. But I didn't do it.
What about Dr. Hooker?
Now you're talking. You know what that old nurse used to say about him? What? She said he was just the type to put a knife in your back.
Oh, it wasn't in her back, silly. It was in her front.
Oh. Well, then I guess it couldn't have been Dr. Hooker.
I told you two to stay upstairs.
Is she dead?
Of course she's dead. Now upstairs at once.
Who do you think did it?
That's not my concern, nor yours either.
I'm only interested because it must have been one of those nice people we met.
Upstairs!
Dr. Hooker.
I have nothing more to say.
Dr. Hooker, please, you ought to advise us on what we should do.
I've already told you, sir, nothing. The girl is dead. Stabbed to death by a knife.
Dr. Hooker, if I offended you in any way, I'm sorry, but I'm only a medical student, not a doctor. And I thought it was best to move off the floor, so I did. What I'm trying to say, Dr. Hooker, is that you should have been the one that...
Sir, I'm not the county coroner. What more would you suggest for me? A medicine dance?
No, I don't understand your attitude, that's all, Doctor.
And I don't understand yours. Lorna! Lorna, where are you? Lorna! Have you seen Lorna?
No, I haven't, Dr. Hooker. Miss Kate told us about the stabbing. She and Mr. Bentley thought that maybe if you had a light for the other room. Well, I brought this for you, Doctor.
They're not for me. Mr. Bentley has taken over completely. And why he wants some light in a room with a corpse, I can hardly guess.
Well, I'll just put them on the table for you, just in case. If you don't mind.
Mind? I don't mind if you throw them in the lake.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, Doctor, I do wish you'd take charge of things. I somehow feel that Mr. Bentley's doing everything wrong.
I think Mr. Bentley has gone berserk.
Can't you do something?
I can't see what I can do, short of hitting him over the head.
That might not be a bad idea.
Now, Mr. Branch, he's only trying to do what he thinks best.
But there are rules about this sort of thing. Police regulations. I think we should observe them. Don't you, Dr. Hooker?
I certainly do.
What rules?
Rules regarding evidence. No one should have moved that body in the first place. This is a matter for the police. No one should touch anything.
Mr. Branch, we simply couldn't leave that whole thing sprawled out on the floor.
Please don't call a body a poor thing. Mr. Ranch is perfectly right. We should have never disturbed the evidence.
I don't think anyone of us should have moved that body in the first place. Unless maybe you, Dr. Hooker.
Well, I don't think we changed anything in the way of evidence. It was done merely for expediency.
What expediency? This meddling makes it that much harder to trap the murderer.
Have you found Lorna?
No, not yet. And please don't automatically presume she's the murderer.
Oh, I don't. I didn't mean that. But where could she be all this time?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
No, I think it's perfectly natural to assume she's guilty.
But there's no evidence. There's no evidence at all.
Well, nevertheless, for safety's sake, I think the best and safest thing would be for us all to congregate in the room upstairs until help comes.
Good idea. I'll go make a round of the passage one more time. I'm sure she's close by.
I think you're right. Is that Lorna?
Who else could it be? Let's go up to the fire. I'm chilled through.
I'm sorry I was such a sissy.
It wasn't an easy to experience. You did very well.
I couldn't even look at her. I guess I've just never actually seen somebody dead before.
That's the point, Kate. She isn't actually dead.
Not dead, but Dr. Hooker said
I know, but she still has a pulse. And she's still conscious. There's even a possibility she can tell us and give us some clue to who did it.
Then she's like the others? Can she survive?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what to think. But she can only survive under a few hours under any conditions. But I don't know. That's why I'm so fed up with that Dr. Hooker.
He did act strangely.
Strange? No doctor could have acted stranger.
Could he have helped her if he had come at once?
I don't know. But Kate, that's what's so darn strange about it. He said the wound was too fatal without even examining it.
Maybe you've made a mistake, Sky.
Oh no, I'm enough of a doctor to know when someone's dead and when they're not.
Someone ought to stay with her. She's still breathing.
Is she conscious?
No. You know, it's awfully dark out there. I thought you sent for some light.
I asked Mrs. Cordes. She must have sent these. Do you want them, Sky?
They're not so important now with Dr. Hooker acting the way he is.
I think we ought to find out who did it. Let's not forget we're dealing with a murder here. Well, attempted murder anyway.
It certainly must have been Lorna.
Lorna.
She was the only one absent.
That doesn't mean anything. Besides, we don't know where anyone was.
Why don't you think it was Lorna?
For two reasons. First, this stabbing was exactly like the others. A wound inflicted which doesn't bring instant death. To me, that means it could only be administered by one skilled in anatomy. A doctor.
Are you suggesting that Dr. Hooker did? I just don't believe it.
No, not Dr. Hooker. Sky Bentley.
What?
You don't know what you're saying.
That blanket probably gave him the itch.
Murder isn't anything to joke about.
But you're forgetting one important point. Sky was standing here in the room with us when the girl screamed. He couldn't have been two places at once.
Oh, a thing like that wouldn't upset his inspired theory. He'll probably try to tell you I have split personality.
Kate, listen to me. He could have very well been here with us at the time the girl screamed. Remember how the other two victims lived afterwards for a while?
No, just what are you trying to say? That I stabbed the girl and then ran back in here before she had a chance to scream?
Oh, go ahead, make a big gag out of it, but just such a thing could have happened and you know it. The girl ran back here to the door trying to get help when she screamed and fell unconscious.
All right, pal. If you want to follow up on that idiotic line, you go right ahead. But you could have easily stabbed yourself and ran back in here.
Yes, except I'm no doctor.
Neither am I.
Don't quibble. You have 3 years medical study under that hat of yours. You know enough about anatomy to do what was done with that knife.
But apparently, the only one in possession of the knife and the only one unaccounted for is Lorna. I think with all things considered, she is the most likely one.
You're forgetting one important thing.
What's that?
Did Lorna have any close association to Donna May? No. Where was she when the other 2 murders were committed? Locked up, no doubt, somewhere in the comfortable corridors of Berrydale.
I'll admit it's unlikely she had any connection with Donna May, but then Sky hadn't either.
That's where you're wrong.
What do you mean?
Sky knew Donna May.
But that's not true.
Go ahead, old pal. Tell her that you never knew Donna May.
Kate, listen.
Sky, did you? Oh, you never said anything about Donna May. If you knew her, why didn't you say so?
Confound it, because I never knew there was any connection between you and that Donna May until tonight. And tonight it was too late. I couldn't tell you with things the way they are between us. I was afraid you jumped to the wrong conclusion.
But Sky, in a case where murder is involved...
How did I know murder was involved with you until tonight? For heaven's sakes, Kate, you can't believe this fanciful thing that this wooden-headed walking temple has built up.
Facts are facts, Kate.
Facts, this guy is a complete water break, a fugitive from a hole in the floor. Lots of people knew Donna May. In fact, Lane probably knew her himself.
Yes, but I point something out. I'm no doctor.
I'm pointing something out. You're no detective.
Kate, listen to me. Until Sky can prove his innocence, I suggest that you stay in the upstairs room with Aunt Bess and the others.
Kate, just one thing for this wigwam Svengali carries you off to his hunting ground. There is a murderer still loose, and at this point I happen to know it isn't me. Who it is, I don't know. But I advise you from the bottom of my heart, don't buy into an economy-sized package of crime solutions if you value your life.
Hold it, everyone. Here's the happy little wanderer.
Lorna!
Lorna, where's the knife?
I don't have the knife.
What did you do with it?
That's for me to know and you to find out.
Lorna, we're trying to help you.
Oh, sure. Just like Dr. Hooker tries to help, you're gonna make a lady out of me even if it kills me.
We know you have the knife. That's all we want. Now, what did you do with it?
I did have it. I took it off the table, but I lost it.
You lost it?
Yes. After that girl got stabbed, I got frightened, so I threw it away out there.
Did you stab the girl with the knife yourself?
Now that's a nasty thing to say. Of course I didn't. But I think maybe I know who did.
Yes, who was it?
Well, I think it was her brother.
Her brother?
Well, I don't mean it's actually her brother. They just have the same kind of knife in them. Sort of a knife-like resemblance.
A man walking around with a knife in it. Then it's true.
Was it the man in the box?
That's the one.
You saw him actually walking around.
Certainly. I saw him just now. He was in looking at Emmeline.
What is she talking about? Kate, we'd better look into this. Better take the lantern and put it across the hall.
But...
Come on.
Kate. Lorna, you better go back upstairs. Dr. Hooker's been looking for you.
Well, he gets paid for it.
Go on, Lorna. Don't make any more trouble.
Do you think I stabbed her?
I don't know what to think. But no one would suspect you of anything if you stayed upstairs with Dr. Hooker.
That's what you think. There are times I could murder Dr. Hooker.
Sky. Charlie, get out of here.
Listen, chum, we can't get around like this any longer. Someone is sure to bump into me sooner or later.
Stay out of sight. I'm in enough trouble without trying to explain you.
That's what I mean. It's because of the trouble that you've got to explain me. There's murder done here tonight, Sky. And the sooner we straighten things out, the better. Who stabbed that girl? I've been eavesdropping, listening in on a lot of what's been said. And believe me, things better not get any deeper.
If you don't want things to get deeper, do as I tell you. Stay under cover until help gets here from the mainland. Mrs. Cordes is signaling continuously with her car lights.
But suppose no one comes.
Will you do as I say? Let me handle it. I'm at my wit's end. I gotta keep an eye on Kate, Lane, and Emmeline. They think I did it. So how am I going to explain you?
Well, Sky, as a matter of
Charlie, let me handle it. Get out of here before someone sees you.
Who are you talking to?
Nobody. Now go back upstairs.
Nobody. Ha!
That's right. Now straight.
You know, whenever I start talking to nobody, well, back I go to Berrydale. How do you get away with it?
I told you to go back upstairs. Oh, don't worry. Nobody will hurt you. It's only a dozen steps from there to the back room.
Oh, sure. Everybody's afraid somebody else is going to get stabbed. But nobody worries about me. Practically nobody except my good friend Ulysses S. Grant.
Okay, I'll take you up to the room myself. Did you really know Ulysses S. Grant, Lorna?
Of course. Ulysses S. Grant gave me my first cigar.
No! Don't scream. My name is Charlie Bowert. I'm a friend of Sky's. Don't mind the looks of my face. It's naturally ugly, but I've added makeup.
Well, you did give me a fright. So you're Charlie. Sky's often mentioned you.
That's right. Sky and I drove up here together.
Ah,
Gosh, I'm sorry I scared you.
well, you see, there's this girl here, Lorna, and she said she saw a corpse walking around with a knife in it, and just for a moment I thought that it's silly.
And you thought I was a corpse?
Of course, we're all on edge. A corpse did actually disappear from that box. Say, do you have any matches? We're trying to light a lantern, so we'll have some lights across the hall.
I think so. Somewhere.
Did you say you knew Sky?
Yeah, hasn't Sky told you about me? I mean, about being here? Don't worry, I have some here somewhere.
No, he didn't. He said he came here alone.
Oh! You!
Damn it, mindless women always scream and faint.
Kate! Kate! Kate, so it's you!
I didn't do it! I didn't do it! I found her here! Oh, stop pawing her all around!
I'm not pawing her, I'm a doctor.
You don't have a doctor's look in your eye!
You go sit on the sofa, I'll deal with you next. Kate, it looks like she's coming around. And Kate, you better lie down for a bit.
No, help me up. I'm all right.
Oh, no, not Lane, not poor Lane.
What's the matter with me?
What did you do to her, you oldering old squaw?
Nothing, honestly. Kate, you tell him I didn't do anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just got hysterical. It was the hat.
Hat?
Look, Sky, I just saw Charlie Bowert, or the corpse, or whoever it was, and he had the knife in him, and he had the hat over the knife, and...
Come, sit down.
The corpse with a knife in it?
All right. And I wanted to explain everything to you before, but you got so suspicious of me. I couldn't tell you about the corpse.
You knew about the corpse? I thought so.
That's the point. It's no corpse. It's Charlie.
I thought you had better sense than to make a joke out of this. All this time, we've been in a fit of terror.
Let me explain. I know I shouldn't have done it, but let me explain. I rigged this whole thing up with Charlie to scare your Aunt Bess from buying this mill. I didn't want you living up here near that, away from me. So I figured if Charlie could pretend to be a ghost, it would throw your Aunt Bess into a panic and queer the sale. But I didn't plan it like this. It was Charlie's idea about the knife, and from there, it just got out of hand.
Sky, how could you?
Try to understand. We didn't know there was going to be a real murder, and by then, Charlie and I were both afraid to admit anything.
It was a horrible, nasty trick.
So that's the way it is, Kate. If he could have planned this, he could have planned the real murder.
Go sit down.
You do owe us more than an explanation, Sky. It was horrid.
I know, but the explanation of Charlie is beside the point right now. We can leave him out of it. The situation is still the same, to find a murderer and to keep Kate alive until help comes from the mainland.
Why don't we follow the clue Emmeline gave us? Someone with one hand.
A one-handed person, I don't buy it.
We haven't anything better.
Well, I can vouch for both the words hook and claw. It's definitely being associated to someone Donna May knew. And Emmeline heard the person saying, I have only one hand.
But she could be wrong.
When you think of the word hook, what comes to you?
Olga! Yes, Sky!
It's possible.
But that doesn't vouch for the use of the word claw.
That's true. But do you remember Dr. Hooker's first name? He introduced himself when he first came in.
I think I could remember it if I heard it again. Was it Cleve?
That's almost it. I've got it. Claude.
Yes, that's right.
By Jove, Claude! I think you've hit it again, Sky. Claw for Claude and hook for Hooker. Boy, I never in the world would have suspected him.
Well, it certainly fits with his relationship to Lorna, I will say that. But the most suspicious thing of all is his refusal to give a doctor's help in regards to Emmeline. We ought to arrest him.
But how? He may be armed.
I have a gun in my car, unless it's been taken out.
Well, get it.
Well, there's no bullets in it.
No bullets?
I really never liked the idea of a loaded gun around, but they wouldn't know whether it's loaded or not.
We'll have to chance it. It's the best we can do.
Well, what is this, a meeting?
No.
I've been trying to find Lorna.
No, she's upstairs, Dr. Hooker, with the others.
I'll go upstairs and question her. I don't want anyone to feel uneasy about Lorna.
Do you think he heard us?
I don't think so.
You know, if he suspects, we're done for.
That's a heavy door, but I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think we're safe. We were talking in low voices, and even screams can't be heard through these stone walls.
We made it! They got our signal!
You mean someone's coming?
The Coast Guard, they're standing right offshore. There's room for all of us. He asked if we were in any kind of trouble, and I told him yes, to wait until I fetched someone. I'll go upstairs and tell the others.
Wait, just half a minute. Get it. We haven't a moment to lose. Mrs. Clarice, we believe we have the murderer. We think it's Dr. Hooker. We must rely on you, though, not to give it away when you go upstairs.
Dr. Hooker? Well, what do you know? I'll be ever so careful, Mr. Bentley. I'll just tell him the boat is here.
Good, then come back at once before the others to see the landing of the boat.
Sure, just as you say.
But if it's the Coast Guard, Sky, we're safe.
We can't risk anything now. He planned on getting to you sooner or later, and this shortens his time. I think the thing to do is stay out of sight for the time being. And try to stay under cover, and stay with Emmeline. If you hear or see of anything, scream at the top of your lungs.
Sky, it's up to you to see that he goes straight to the boat.
Of course. We'll have Lane's gun once you give us authority, and Mrs. Cordice or Lane or myself will come back when we take Emmeline. Got it?
Yes, but as I told you, it's empty.
We'll have to chance it. Kate, ready?
Yes, but be careful, both of you.
We'll be careful.
I thought it best if she wasn't in the room.
Good idea.
Well, they're told. Dr. Hooker's banking the fire with ashes. They're putting on their coats.
Good work, Mrs. Cordice. Now if you could get that Coast Guard in here.
Right.
They're coming. Who's going to do this? You or I?
You can do it if you want to.
No, I don't know much about guns. You do it. If he tries anything, I'll throw a chair.
I'll stand here next to the door and cuff him on the rear. Don't give me away.
It's a best. It's true, Mr. Bentley. There's a boat.
Yes, please sit down. We have something important to tell you.
I knew all along there was nothing to worry about.
We're arresting Dr. Hooker. You must cooperate. We're taking him to the boat first.
But, Dr. Hooker, you mean you think...
We haven't time to explain.
Where's Kate?
She's with Emmeline.
If you ask me, I think everybody's too anxious to get to Berrydale. That's the trouble with the whole world in a nutshell. Too anxious to get to Berrydale.
You three step over there. We have a short wait until the boat lands.
What's up?
Watch it!
Well, all of us ready and waiting, I see. We wouldn't want to leave anyone.
Freeze, Dr. Hooker.
What is the meaning of this?
Put your hands up, quickly.
This is a mistake. I don't think so. We found out about you. Found out about me?
That's right, Dr. Hooker.
What have you found out?
You gave yourself away when you refused to give a doctor's help to Emmeline. Emmeline herself gave us clues to your name, that phony bandaged hand, and that couple with your association with Lorna as a doctor.
All right, let me explain. But the gun isn't necessary.
It's better take him to the boat, Sky. He's guilty.
Open the door, Lane.
I warned you, sir.
Outside, you outside.
must say, that went off easier than I thought.
Yes, but what do we do? Do we dare ride in a boat with him?
And what happens to us?
Oh, don't worry. We'll get to Berrydale one way or another. Let's go outside and watch. Maybe someone will get pushed off the dock.
Well, we may as well go on out. I'll get Kate. Kate! Goodness, where's my notebook?
Oh, let me see, I saw it. Oh, upstairs on the fireplace bench. Do you need it?
All my precious notes? I still have time to get them.
I'll wait for you. Oh, Kate!
Here's the knife that Lorna had. I found it across the hall.
Oh, gracious, you startled me so, holding that knife like that.
Well, where's Auntie?
Upstairs, getting a notebook.
Did they have any trouble with Dr. Hooker?
No, not at all. I can't tell you how relieved I am. It's all over.
I, too. I'll never feel the same about knives again. I'll just leave this little implement here for Mrs. Cordes and her assistant. Oh, Mr. Ranch, I am so sorry.
Sorry? Sorry about what?
The knife, the point of it trapped you right in the hand. You didn't feel it?
You're quite right. One hand is artificial. Does that mean something to you?
Yes.
The last one left, Kate.
Oh my God, you're Donna May's older brother that no one knew.
Yes, I devoted my life to avenging her.
Mr. Ranch, you must listen. Donna May's death was an accident, I swear. No one killed her.
You all killed her.
No, it was an accident.
You're all responsible. Killing a beautiful young girl. Oh, don't think how I don't know. After the injury to my hand, you girls all insulted me. A life of insults.
No.
Donna May told me. She alone gave me strength.
Donna May wasn't like that at all, Mr. Ranch.
It doesn't matter now. My work is finished. That's all I care.
I'll scream.
Yes, go ahead. I think I'd like you to scream. Go ahead, dear. Scream. Ow!
Don't move, Mr. Ranch. Don't try a thing.
Kate, are you all right?
Get the nice guy.
Mrs. Cordes!
Lane, take him out. I'll get Mrs. Cordes with the gun.
You're all right, aren't you?
Yes, thanks a lot.
Oh, there you are, dear. I think this place has definite possibilities.
All despite the murder. So, how is everyone? All right out there? No, I got the impression some of you think I'm a bit gay. I don't know where any of you get that idea. Well, so, did anyone guess? Anyone? Oh, you were here the other night. Don't put your hand up. All right, well, don't forget, you still don't know who got the girl. No, but you see, there's a bit of construction going on back there, and sooner or later, you'll see who bought the mill, and we'll finish this thing all off for you. You all look a bit tired. Let's get a wave going on. Start over here. Wave. Come on, the wave. All right, well, any rate. So, everyone have a good time? Oh, this isn't good. Hi. It's going,
You know what? I'm not supposed to be in prison. This is your fault.
And, why don't we just talk about this a little bit, oh dear, what's gonna be a way out of this? Why don't you put the gun down and we'll just talk about this, all right? Oh dear. She's going to kill me now, isn't she?
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh, but you look so good in stripes.
Finally, what that mean?
Oh yes, better food in prison, cable television, weight rooms, it's all good.
Done with this time.
Oh dear, this isn't good.
You know what? We really need to finish them off.
You're right. How do you feel about this? The knife's a bit cliche.
Yes, it does.
Any bullets in the gun this time?
I don't think so.
Borrow one. Hang on.
Anyone?
You want a gun? Big gun. Finish these guys off. Anybody? Somebody's unpacking heat. Anyone? Good, thanks. Unpacking heat. You know, you work here. You must, right? I mean, you've got to take yourself somewhere.
We also want to. What did Kate marry? We've got to kill them off now, too.
Well, it can't be you, you're out here.
Well, of course it can't be you either.
No, it can't be. It could be me. No, you're right. Besides, I think the other one's not Peter. Oh.
That's not true.
Yeah. Well, we'll think of something.
I'm sure we will.
We'll drop a beam on another word. Those electric saws sounds like it would be quite nasty.
Yes, it does. I like that.
So should we go back and look for them?
Oh, certainly.
Let's go. After you, my dear. Enjoy the show.
How nice you look, Mabel.
Thank you, ma'am. What do you hear from Mrs. Cordes? She's still in jail, thank you, ma'am. She only has a year and a half to go. Well, I'm glad she turned state's evidence. She's not the bad sort. She tried coming for your ranch before. I'm glad she finally stood up to him, and he got what he deserved. May I take your things? Oh, no, thank you. Okay.
Oh, Auntie Bess, I'm so glad you're the first one. Oh, but you didn't dress in the same old clothes. This is a dress-up anniversary party.
Nonsense, child. No one will show up to your party in old clothes. Besides, I've got to fight. Anyway, what about yourself? I remember this strawberry number.
Oh, brand new.
Too bad it had to rain for the occasion, but I think it's clearing off.
Yeah, the lights were off until a moment ago. I've been rehearsing my speech in the dark.
Tell me, is everyone coming? Dr. Hooker?
Oh, you mean Mr. Hooker? Yes, of course.
It certainly was a shock finding out the way we did that he wasn't a murderer.
I shouldn't think he'd dare come. Well, the state has reviewed his case, and he's been allowed to continue his study for his degree. His work with mental patients was quite remarkable, you know, and that made all the difference.
Well, I'm glad. Imagine Sky and Lane arresting him as a murderer. And all the time, poor Mr. Hooker thought they were arresting him for his pretense of being a doctor.
Yes, the mistake was nearly fatal. Well, happily it's all over. Happy ending. Would you like to come upstairs?
Not just yet. You've done wonders.
Oh, it's just a start.
And after all the fuss you made, I wouldn't think you'd dare want this for your first house.
First house? We're going to live in this forever and ever. It's simply a dream.
The honeymoon is still on, I see.
Oh, yes, Auntie. He's wonderful. Everything is wonderful, and we're in debt up to here.
Did he finish school?
Oh, yes, of course, and with honors when he had me to inspire him. And I've discovered that he has a new talent. He's simply marvelous at making things. You should see the cupboards he built in the hall and in the kitchen. Saved us $200. Oh, that's Dr. Hooker now. I'll get it.
Kate, it's good to see you.
Oh, Dr. Hooker, come in.
Mr. Hooker, not doctor yet. I've learned my lesson. The fact that Mr. Bentley and Mr. Burge thought they arrested me for murder, and I thought they arrested me for practicing a fraud, doesn't make the crime any less serious in my mind. And Mrs. Lanson, so glad to see you again.
But isn't it true, Mr. Hooker, that you are studying for a doctor's degree?
Yes, 2 more years. 2 short years.
I just think that's wonderful, Mr. Hooker.
And now I have a favor to ask. I may have worked an imposition on you.
Oh, but of course you haven't. What is it?
I have some guests with me. They're on the porch.
Not Lorna, Nan, and Dottie.
Yes, the very same. And a much improved Lorna, Dan, and Dottie, I might add.
Bring them in at once.
We intended to surprise you, but the girls were shy. Thought I'd better ask. Lorna, Dottie, and Nan.
We're very happy to be here. We all wanted to come. Nan cried.
No, I didn't. You shouldn't say things like that. Should she, Dr. Hooker?
You see, Kate, the girls were overjoyed at the thought of visiting you. If there were any signs of tears they had, only the tears of overwhelming joy and gratitude, emotions that all of us could be quite proud of.
Yes, I was very happy to come.
So was I. I almost cried. We're very happy to be here. I'm glad you got rid of those awful drinks.
Now, where's your husband? I haven't seen him in nearly a year.
Oh, Dr. Hooker, I thought you came here today to see me.
My dear, one can't be obvious.
Oh, I'll get it, Mabel.
Well, I've made it. I'm here at last.
Lane, how wonderful to see you.
According to Kate's rule of dress for anniversary parties, you should be wearing blankets.
No thanks, not me. Say, is this the same old place?
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Don't.
You haven't been here since the wedding.
Don't tell me that old rivalry is still raging.
No, nothing like that. Kate, I'm properly ashamed of myself. I haven't properly congratulated you with rushing off on that business trip and all, so congratulations. The best man won and all that sort of thing.
Bravo!
So where is he, that no-good, worthless husband of yours? Mr. Bentley, I was beginning to wonder if you would appear.
Sky, what on earth do you mean by coming in the back door?
Don't move everybody. I have a grand double surprise awaiting everyone.
Now, Sky.
Shh, quiet.
She's alive! My knife came out, didn't it? She's rolled out of there.
All right. Now this is surprise number 1. Emmeline is out of bed for good. She will positively recover.
Thanks to the remarkable aid and encouragement of a young doctor.
Oh, tut. Let me toot my own horn.
Now, Sky.
I had to come in the back way to make this properly dramatic. Now, with your permission, Em, Emmeline and I are to be married 3 weeks from today.
Oh, smashing.
Dinner is served. Oh, great. What a lovely surprise party. Dinner is served.
But where's your husband?
I'm here. I didn't like the effect.
On you, Charlie. It looks good.
He was bound to make an entrance.
Oh, I think you two are just awful. Dinner is served.
Come on to dinner, everyone. I promise to make him change it to a suit. The minute we finish dinner, right after my speech.
And I can't wait to tell you about the old barn I found.
No more barns, Auntie.
Oh, jeez. I've still got my money.
Come on to dinner, Lorna.
I was just wondering, doesn't it hurt when you laugh?
Oh, no, it's just a fake.
Oh?
See? It isn't real at all.
How nice. I find so many things in the world aren't.
Has been incredible, and I just wanted you guys to all know how thankful to her we are because she has taught us so much in the time she's been here, and I just wanted her to know how much we love her.
we did good. I couldn't say anything else. We have such a great cast. I had so much fun.
Did you have a lot of fun?
So did I.
I had so much fun. It was a lot of fun.
Justin, if you want to stand up a little bit, tell me what your favorite part of the play was.
The end.
Woohoo! These guys were out of control. They came on stage flying. They came on stage doing all kinds in the suckers. Oh my gosh, the bubbles.
In other words,
I like when she was trying to blow the bubbles out of the sucker.
Zach had a lot of laughs. What's going on in your head, Zach?
Nothing much.
You're not character.
I did get a lot of comments that everybody thought Zach was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I think it was very hard. I think it was very hard when we were on stage watching him and trying our hardest not to laugh at Zach.
I am the very model of a modern Major General. I am an inspiration of
the play. Focus on Absolutely Murder.
Well, you just said say something. I mean, I had to think of something.
Focus on Absolutely Murder.
I don't know. I had a lot of fun.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was it nice that a lot of people thought it wasn't you?
Yeah, it was nice to have a departure. Yeah.
It really was.
And then she goes psycho on me with the gun.
Okay. David.
Yeah.
Stand up.
Okay.
I think everybody thought automatically it was you.
Yeah.
What did people say after the play?
They said some people said they knew it was Zach the whole time because I was just their guess.
Uh-huh.
But then other people were like, "Oh, I was so shocked." When I was reading the script, I was wanting me to be the killer, but I wanted to be the big villain guy, and it didn't work out.
It wasn't him?
Rich, I have something to say.
Okay.
Which performance do you think was better?
Saturday.
Saturday people are here, though.
Sunday was Friday.
We got more Friday.
Jessica, you played the lead, and this is your senior year. What are your thoughts?
Oh God, I can't believe I'm done with this whole department. I think this department's kind of been the basis of my identity throughout high school, and I'm really sad that it's all over. I mean, but it was also the climax of everything because it's the first time I've had such a great role, and I loved it. So.
Good.
Psycho.
Tell us how you felt. What did friends say about it to you?
They told me it fit me.
We're ravers now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It
told
was
me
a lot of
it
fun,
was a lot of fun eating bubbles and
Sucking on each other's suckers.
people told me I didn't even have to act. I'm like, thanks.
That's what we need in Sierra.
I was adopted.
So it was great.
Yeah, we know. It's okay.
Yeah, we know.
It was my
we
senior
didn't really
year.
want you part of the family, but you just happened to be there.
I'm moving out.
You're like one of those crazy
Say
uncles
puppy
no one
dog.
ever really,
It's
wants
always
around.
It's like he's part of the family and he keeps showing up to the reunion.
Remember Uncle Ed? I said never to use that name in this house.
I think probably one of the most memorable things was the hand, the removing of the hand.
God.
How can you do that for us one more time?
Well,
Actually, show us how you turn and twist it.
well, I don't really want
speak,
to
just
take
do
off
it.
my hand.
I know, but
It's
turn that hand.
Ow.
This one is not artificial.
The Jessica actually stabbed me in the hand Saturday night.
Of course, all those nerves and all those emotions and feelings inside on Friday night. How did you get yourselves pumped up to play do your thing on Friday night?
Don't mess
One
up.
at a time.
Don't mess up.
I think,
Okay.
well, the warm-up helps, but I think you're so nervous that you have so much adrenaline flowing that it's just there. It's automatically there.
I think it helped a lot too. I know me and Brad, we went over our lines repetitively, over and over and over. I mean, up until when they called places because we needed to make sure that we were right on with each other. So I think that helped.
It was nerve-wracking at the beginning, but once we got there and the first lap, you're just like, okay, this is gonna go good.
Yeah,
and
because you get out there and you're really nervous, but you just feed off the adrenaline rush.
Exactly. And I think you brought up a good point, Brad, is the fact that the first night the audience was with us. And Saturday it was like, I was in the booth going, somebody laugh! Somebody laugh, please! I let them know my cast members know that everything's okay.
You had somebody sit downstage to laugh at the funny parts.
I'm not kidding. I was really worried. I thought this is really funny, and I got some people that aren't even laughing.
I know.
So.
I was laughing both nights.
Good.
Zach came backstage. Nobody's laughing at my walk.
It's like
The butt
my hips
wiggle.
hurt. They're going back and forth. No one laughs. No one.
So now that it's over, are you hungry or are you tired?
Hungry or sleepy? Are you hungry or are you sleepy?
Thank you. All right. So you
He's ready. I'm not. I'm not ready.
Oh, God. I gotta wait for your 6.
I'm not ready. Come
Because you're violent. You think you're not supposed to smile.
Nicole, Jacob.
Everybody that's involved in this can get together.
Okay, all of us.
I sure can.
Smile, kid. Two, get your face up. Three, smile.
Too sexy for my.
I'm not smiling. I'm in pain.